对他发预言。
And then that student was shocked to the core.
那个学生就是开始是怕到有点发抖。
He was surprised. You know what you just said is something I was thinking of a couple of days ago. I didn't tell anybody.
你刚刚给我发的预言是我曾经在想这个，我还没跟任何人讲过。
So I didn't even, speak it out loud, and then you were just speaking it to me now.
我还没说出口过，你居然就给我发预言。
So he said he never experienced anything like that.
这个学生从来没有经过这样的事。
Do you know what this is?
知道这是什么吗？
This is the power of the Holy Spirit.
这是圣灵的能力。
So do you believe in the power of the Holy Spirit?
相信圣灵的能力吗？
If you don't, hopefully by the end of tonight that you'll do.
今晚就相信。
Because we serve an Almighty God. Amen. We just need to learn more of His power and learn how to flow in His power, so that we can advance His kingdom together. So we can build up one another. We can build up the church together. We need the power of God. We need the gifts of the Holy Spirit. So that's why we maximize their time here for 3 Tuesdays in a row. We have this School of Holy Spirit. All right, let's welcome Kenny.
欢迎 Kenny.
I like sitting down because if I don't, I tend to run around a little too much.
我想要坐着，因为如果不坐的话，我会满场跑。
Maybe you should.
Later. First, just pray. Holy Spirit, we invite you in right now.
圣灵啊，我们邀请你在我们中间。
We ask for your presence.
我们恳求你的同在。
For your touch.
你来触摸。
For your will to be done in this place right now.
你的旨意在这个地方被彰显。
Not our ways.
不是我们的意思。
But yours.
而是乃是你的意思。
Not our desires, but yours.
不是我们的渴望，乃是你的渴望。
Not our words, but yours.
不是我们的话，乃是你的话。
Not our strength, but yours.
不是我们的力量，乃是你的力量。
I ask that you open up our hearts in a new way tonight.
我恳求你今天晚上一个全新的方式打开我们的心，
Let us hear you like never before.
让我们无与伦比的听到你，
But let us know you like never before.
让我们前所未有的来认识你。
And we thank you and we honor you.
圣灵，我们谢谢你，我们尊荣你。
In the name of Jesus, amen.
奉耶稣的名，阿门。
Just as any speaker comes up, we usually end up doing an introduction for them. And
通常讲员上来都会做一个介绍。
And I think it's appropriate to do an introduction for God as well.
那我觉得也应该先介绍一下我们的神，
Because He's the one we want to speak to us tonight.
因为今天是神要对我们说话。
We're talking about the Creator of the universe,
我们在讲到的是宇宙的创造者，
the one outside of time,
是超越时间之外，
outside of creation.
超越创造之外。
Psalms 113 says,
诗篇139篇，
I'm going to be quoting a lot of scripture, so I don't have them all.
诗篇139篇
says that God humbles Himself to look at the heavens and the earth.
神降卑自己，然后从天往下看。
This is what He's created.
我们都是他所造的。
Even more so, this is the heavens, His throne room.
是他的宝座。
That He has to humble Himself simply to look at it.
他降卑自己往下看。
This is a glorious God.
这是一位全荣耀的上帝。
He humbled Himself even more.
他更多的降卑自己。
And put on flesh.
然后加上周围充满了亮光。
So that He could be in relationship with you.
他就能够来与你有关系。
Hebrews 1 says that He upholds the universe by the word of His power.
希伯来书1章讲到说，他以他的话，全能的话托住万有。
That in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth.
在起初，神创造天地。
That there was nothing but darkness.
一开始呢是浑沌黑暗。
And God looked into darkness.
神就看到在黑暗里。
And imagined light.
然后开始想象有光。
And with a word.
他说要有光。
Said, let there be light.
要有光。
And there was light.
就有了光。
God wants to look into you.
神要看着你。
Look into the darkness of where you are.
看你所在的黑暗之中。
The hopelessness where you feel like you are.
当你感到无望的时候。
and imagine what's not, what you don't see.
而你所没有看到的事。
And with a word,
只要有他一句话，
bring it to be.
就成了。
God's word is power.
神的话就是能力。
God's word is power.
神的话就是能力。
This is who we're talking about is speaking to us.
今天晚上是上帝要对我们说话。
If you could take anything away from tonight,
如果你今天可以带着任何东西回去的话，
know that number one,
第一，
you are designed to be in a relationship with God.
你被设计就是要来跟神有关系的。
Every part of you.
你全身的灵魂体。
You have eyes because God wants to show you something.
你有眼睛，因为上帝要你看见。
You have ears because God wants to speak to you.
你有耳朵，因为神要跟你说话。
You have an imagination because God wants to interact with you.
你有想象力，因为神要介入你的生命。
That from the very beginning, God walked with man.
从最开始，神与人同行。
And He went through incredible lengths to restore that relationship.
他花了好大的功夫才能够修复这样的关系。
You are designed to be in a relationship with God.
你被创造就是要来跟神建立关系。
The second part,
第二，
He wants to be in a relationship with you.
他想要跟你建立关系。
You're not just designed for it. He desires you.
他不但只是创造你，他乃是渴望你。
If you think you're unworthy to hear from God,
如果你觉得你自己不配得来聆听神，
the truth is you are.
真理是他真的，你真的是配得。
Compared to God, we all are.
比起神来的，我们每个人都是配得的。
But when God looks at you, He doesn't see the sin that you're in.
神看你的时候呢，看到的不是你犯的罪。
When you turn to Jesus, He sees His Son.
当你转向耶稣的时候呢，天父看到的是他的儿子在你里面。
He sees the righteousness of Christ when He looks at you.
他看到基督的公义在你里面。
And He wants you all the same.
他要你。
I did not grow up in a Christian house.
我从小不是在一个基督徒家庭长大。
I grew up in a house that went to church on Sundays.
我的家庭呢，偶尔会去教会。
And yet my older brother, younger sister, and me were sent to private Christian school.
但我的哥哥，我还有我妹妹，我们还是去读了基督教学校。
Because that's what good parents do.
那是好的父母亲常会做的事。
It had a radically different effect on my brother and sister.
对于我哥哥妹妹来讲，是很不一样的。
When I was 13, just a regular chapel service when God called me in.
我还记得我13岁的时候呢，参加学校的那个教会时间，然后呢，神就很奇妙的呼召我。
He drew a line in the sand and said, "Serve me or don't serve me."
他好像在沙里面画了一条线，然后跟我说：“你服侍我，或是你不服侍我。”
It's the verse from 2 Corinthians that said, "Whether you eat, sleep, or drink, do all to the glory of God."
就像哥林多后书所说的，你或吃或喝，都要为荣耀神而行。
I wrestled with this.
我当时有很大的挣扎。
And then finally I was like, I'm all in, God.
后来我就跟神说：“神啊，我100%加入。”
But honestly, I can't do this myself.
但我自己没办法。
So God, I'm asking you to do it with me.
我就说：“主啊，你要跟我一起做。”
God wants a relationship with us.
神要跟我们建立关系。
Most of me learning to hear from God was just being a child.
我在学习跟神契这些年呢，就像个孩子一样一直在学习。
Spending time in the Word.
就花时间来读神的话语。
I remember asking my youth pastor when I was younger.
我还记得我比较年轻的时候问我的这个青年牧师
How do you hear from God?
你怎么聆听神呢？
Here you go. How do you know the voice of your mom?
你怎么认得你妈妈的声音？
Anybody?
你怎么能够认得你妈妈的声音？可以讲一下你怎么认得你妈妈的声音？怎么知道那是你妈妈？
It's not a trick question, I promise. You hear it?
你听到？
Okay. Yes. You hear it all the time.
你总是听到妈妈的声音。
You hear it when you don't want to hear it.
其实你不想听的，还听到妈妈的声音。
So that if your mom calls you from a number you don't know,
所以如果你从一个不认识的号码，妈妈打电话给你，
she doesn't need to introduce herself.
她不需要自我介绍，
Because you know it's your mom.
因为你知道那是妈，
Because you've heard it so much.
因为你听过她声音这么多次了。
A lot of times we don't recognize the voice of God
但很多时候我们认不出是神的声音，
because we're not used to hearing it.
因为我们还不习惯听到神的话语，从圣经上。
You get to know somebody's voice
当你知道一个人的声音，
by hearing it over and over again.
当你不断的听的时候，你就会认得他的声音，
You get to know what they sound like.
你就知道他一说一个字，你就知道什么是他。
But you also get to know what they say.
但你也会知道他的说话的意思。
So even if you read a letter from somebody,
即使你在读一个人的信，
read a letter from your mom,
读你妈妈写给你的信，
you read a few things that doesn't sound like my mom.
读这不像妈妈的口吻呢。
My mom would call me out.
我妈妈不会这样讲，
She wouldn't sugarcoat this.
她一定会注意到的。
And so you can recognize it also by what is said.
所以你也会从内容来判别，
Because you know the one who said it.
因为你知道说话的是谁。
Again, having to be in relationship.
所以也是要建立关系。
The young man that Pastor Casey was just talking about.
刚刚我是讲那个台大机械系2年级的学生，
He was actually genuinely pretty scared afterwards.
其实在我发完言之后，他真的是蛮害怕的。
And to try and lighten the atmosphere.
为了让气氛轻松一点，
He said, "Wow, you must be great with the ladies."
他说：“哇，你一定对把妹很在行吧？”
Sit there, just hold their hands, just tell them everything.
如果他的手跟他讲你过去发生过什么事情，
Getting some shake heads over here. But God isn't Wikipedia.
但是呢，上帝不是那个百科全书，
He's not a cosmic vending machine.
他不是一个好宇宙里面那个贩卖机、投币机，
He's a person.
他是一个有位格的神。
And do we know him?
我们真的认识他吗？
Do we spend time with him?
我们有花时间跟他在一起？
Because God talks a lot.
因为上帝要对我们说很多话，
Sometimes you wish he didn't.
有时候你希望他不要说那么多。
Raise your hand if you ever God told you something that you didn't want to do.
有没有神跟你讲过什么事你不想去做的？请举手。
Some people aren't being honest with me, but that's okay.
有些人可能不是很直过没关系。
Sometimes we wonder why we don't hear God.
有时候我们在觉得很奇怪，为什么我们听不到上帝对我们说话？
But again, like I said, God wants to be in a relationship with you.
就像我刚刚说的，神希望跟我们建立关系。
In fact, Jesus said quite clearly, "My sheep know my voice."
耶稣在约翰福音第10章讲过：“我的羊认得我的声音。”
Hearing the voice of God isn't just a privilege.
聆听神真的是我们的一个荣耀跟特权。
Isn't something that's available just to a few people.
那并不是只有少数人才有的特权，不是的。
When you come to Jesus,
当你到神面前来，
it is your right as a child of God to know His voice.
作为神孩子的权利，就能够听到神的声音。
My sheep know my voice.
因为我的羊认得我的声音。
Sometimes, I used to have some friends that would come to me all the time in high school.
我高中的时候呢，有些朋友他们常常来找我
Kenny, I have this problem.
，Kenny，我有个问题，
Help me with this.
帮我一下。
And I would give them some counsel.
我就给他们一些咨询。
Thank you so much.
哇，太感谢你了。
They'd come to me 3 months later.
3个月以后又回来找我
Kenny, I have the same problem.
，Kenny，我有同样问题了，
Here's the same advice.
同样的建议。
3 months later.
再过3个月，
Kenny, I have the same problem.
我有同样问题了 ，Kenny。
Advice hasn't really changed much.
没怎么改变。
Sometimes we don't hear God because we don't listen to what He says.
有时我们没有听到神，是因为我们没有照着他所说的去做。
Do we constantly ignore what God is saying?
我们是不是常会忽略神对我们说的话呢？
Sometimes it's just a sin issue.
有时候是一个罪的原因，
Or we're running away from God.
或是我们逃离神。
Thinking of Jonah, knew quite clearly that he was not doing right when he ran away.
当约拿逃跑的时候，你知道他做的一件不是对的事。
God didn't tell him again, go to Nineveh. He knew he needed to go.
上帝并没有再跟他说：“哎，你去尼尼微啊，去尼尼微。”他自己知道他应该去尼尼微，
So he had the men throw him overboard.
所以必须他不要被抛下船去，
He got swallowed by a fish,
然后被一条大鱼吞了。
shark, whale, whatever you want to say.
哦，可能是鲨，可能是鲸。
I've had some people try to correct me on that, so he was eaten by some sort of giant aquatic animal.
他就被一个很大的水里面的动物所吞了。
3 days later, he was
3
found
天
out,
之后，他被吐出来，
and then God said to him again,
神又对他说
go to Nineveh.
去尼尼微。
This time he obeyed.
这次他顺服了。
And then as he did, God spoke more to him as he went.
当他这样做的时候呢，神对他说话，
You need to be quite hard-headed.
一定是蛮困难的。
I was actually talking with a student today
我今天跟一个学生谈话，
who studies biology.
他是主修生物，
And she was telling me something that she learned that she thought was very fascinating.
他跟我分享他学习到很棒的东西。
She was saying that we can only experience things that we have senses to experience.
我们只能够感受到，我们的五官所能够感受到的。
But there are things going on in the world that we can't necessarily perceive.
但是事实上，有些东西不是我们五官能感受到的。
Rays of light that you can't see.
比如说光的一些波是我们的一些部分是我们看不到的。
Sounds that we can't hear.
声音如果超过我们的音频的范围，我们也听不到。
You know, like sounds that only dogs can hear and listen.
有些声音只有狗或是其他动物听得到。
As she was saying, I was just blown away.
他在分享的时候，我觉得哇，太奇妙了。
Because we can experience God.
我们来经历神，
Again, we are designed to be in a relationship with Him.
我们被创造是要来跟神建立关系。
But when I added, when I was talking with her,
当我在跟他聊天，
so sometimes we shove these senses with things that it's not designed to see.
有时候呢，我们并不是被设计要来感觉到的东西，我们是感觉不到的，
Or it's not designed to hear.
或是我们不该听到的东西。
And we end up callousing our senses.
我们如果长久去听一些不该听的，做一些不该做的话呢，我们的耳朵就好像长茧一样。
Sometimes we have a hard time interacting with God with our imagination.
有的时候呢，我们的想象力觉得也很难跟神沟通，
Because we've damaged our imagination so much
因为我们已经摧毁我们自己想象力，在过去的经验中，
by what we constantly put on it,
因为我们过去放了一些垃圾在里面，
what we're constantly watching,
我们看了一些不该看的，
what we're listening to.
或者听了一些不该听的。
But the blood of Jesus can cleanse everything.
但是主耶稣的宝血可以能洁净每一件事情，
And He can cleanse our imagination.
它也可以来洁净我们的想象力，
He can cleanse our hearing.
它可以来洁净我们的听力。
If we submit it to Him.
如果我们顺服委身于他，
God doesn't just want to be in a relationship with part of you.
神并不是要是跟你身上的某一部分建立关系。
Gentlemen,
男士们，
try proposing to somebody and saying, I'm only going to marry part of you.
如果你跟某人求婚的话，我只要跟你身上的某一部分结婚就好。
Would any of the ladies be okay with that?
会有人答应这样的求婚吗？
Nah.
不会，
No way.
不可能。
Why do we treat God that way then?
为什么我们有人会这样对待神呢？
When God called me to Him,
当神呼召我来归向他，
He made it very clear.
非常清楚，
Whether you eat, sleep, or drink,
你们或吃或喝，
do all
不论做什么，
to the glory of God.
都要为荣耀神而行。
Do I submit my imagination to God?
我是不是也要把我的想象力完全的降服于神？
Do I submit my hearing to God?
将我的听力完全降服于神？
No, God, I just want to watch this one more thing.
我说，如果你就说神啊，我就再看一次就好了。
I know I should.
我知道我不该看这个。
But just one more episode.
我再看一集就好。
Some people got really convicted right there.
所以看起来相当的被圣灵定罪的感觉。
This isn't saying that you can't watch people calling each other out. This isn't at all saying that you can't watch episodes of whatever.
这不是说你不能够看连续剧或者韩剧或什么剧。
Maybe that one show you're watching you should have watched, but.
也许你看的某一个是你可以看的。
But the question is, do you submit what you're watching to the Lord?
重点是你有把你所看的来降服交给神呢？
If the Lord asked you not to, would you stop?
如果上帝要你别看了，你会不会停住呢？
God has asked you multiple times to, all right, I want you to stop watching stuff for a while.
上帝有没有很多次叫你不要再看某某东西了？
We fast in order to grow closer to God.
我们进食是希望跟上帝更加的亲近。
To set ourselves aside for sanctification.
把我们自己分别为圣。
Sometimes we need to do that with our imaginations too.
有时候我们的想象力也需要这样做。
Just as food, we're allowed to eat it.
食物是允许被吃的。
But there are times where we set things aside in order to grow closer to God.
但有的时候呢，我们也把时间分别出来，我们就禁食祷告，我们就不吃食物。
Same thing, honestly, with almost everything.
同样的，其实每个都是这样子。
When God was about to come down on Mount Sinai,
当上帝要降临在西乃山的时候，
He told Moses, have the people sanctify themselves.
他跟摩西说，叫百姓们自洁，
Have them cleanse themselves.
叫他们自洁，
Have them abstain from sexual relations.
让他们禁欲几天。
All good things.
这都是好的事情哦。
All things even God asks us to do as married couples.
甚至夫妻之间应该做的事。
But there was a time of sanctification.
但是也有分别为圣的时间。
Because God wanted to do something larger.
因为神要做更大的事。
And God came down fire.
就那天呢，大陆自洁之后呢，神就在火中大大的降临在西乃山。
And spoke to a nation.
然后对整个以色列百姓说话。
And yet when He spoke, they were terrified.
当他说话的时候，百姓都吓坏了。
He said, don't have him speak to us anymore, Moses.
摩西啊，请以后上帝不要直接跟我们说话了。
You speak to us, but don't let him speak to us anymore.
你跟我们说话就好了，请上帝不要直接跟我们说话，
Lest we die.
免得我们死掉。
Do we run from the voice of God?
我们有没有逃离神的声音呢？
For what He's wanting to say and do?
对着他要我们所说所做的事。
A lot of times in the church,
很多时候在教会里面，
I've seen this in every nation I've gone to.
我也在我们的大家庭里面看到，
The same as Israel and Moses.
有点像是以色列跟摩西，
The entire nation
全以色列国
lived off the relationship of one man.
把一个人的关系高举。
It said when Moses would go to the tent of meeting outside the camp,
当摩西去到那个会幕的聚会，
that the people of Israel would stand and come to their tents.
以色列百姓会站在自己帐幕的门口，
And they'd watch the presence of God come down on a tent.
他们就看到神的同在、耶和华同在降在那个会幕那里，
And then they bow down and worship
他们就俯伏下拜，
from where they were.
就从他们的帐幕前面，
None of them went out to meet God.
没有人去到那个神的那个地方来敬拜他，
Instead, they waited for Moses to come back
他们就等着摩西跟神会完面之后回来，
and waited for Moses to tell them what God was saying.
等着摩西跟他们说神要对他们说什么。
I'll be honest, every single time somebody has prophesied over me,
每一次有人对我发预言的时候，
they say what God has already been telling me.
他们对我发的预言都是神已经对我说过的话，
It's confirmation
那是一个确认，
because I'm hearing from God in my own life.
因为我在生命中我也一直在聆听神。
I promise any pastor that you meet
我向你保证，你所遇到的任何牧师
wants you to go to God.
都希望你直接到神面前去，
They don't want to be your God.
他们不希望当你的上帝，
They're too busy for that.
他们太忙了。
Nobody has time for that.
确实是这样。
And the thing is, you can.
你可以的。
I learned to hear the voice of God just over time.
我开始学习聆听神的声音，一再又一再。
Stepping out in faith.
就是凭着信心跨出去。
Usually in very safe atmospheres.
通常是在一个很安全的环境之下。
Friends praying together.
比如说跟朋友一起祷告。
And as we're praying for our friends.
为朋友祷告。
Just sharing, hey, I feel like God was saying this to you.
可以分享说，我觉得神要对你说什么什么。
Wow, that's exactly what I was feeling.
那都是我感觉的耶。
Wow, I did hear from the Lord.
哇，那你真的听到神了耶。
So that when I go and talk with somebody who has never heard from the Lord.
所以当我去到从来没有听过神说话的人在一起分享。
I'm quite confident that the Lord is speaking.
我很有信心，我知道神在说话。
Because I'm stepping out in faith and knowing He speaks.
因为我是凭着信心踏出去。
When we come to God, do we expect Him to speak?
当我们到神面前来，我们期待他对我们说话吗？
It's a very big question. Do you expect God to speak?
这是一个大灾问，你有没有期待神对你说话？
Hebrews says, without faith it is impossible to please God.
人如果没有信，不可能得神的喜悦。
Because without faith, you can't come to Him.
因为人若没有信，不可能到神面前来。
But He rewards those.
在他奖赏那些寻求他的人。
We have a little bit of activation here.
我们现在要做一个活化的练习。
Honestly, just gonna ask if God speaks to you as an individual.
我们要请求神对每一个人说话。
Because this isn't about parlor tricks and being able to impress people.
这不是任何一个什么小把戏，要使人印象深刻的。
It's about a relationship.
这是关于关系。
I've seen a lot of people hear from God very well.
我看过很多人，他们能够聆听神。
And yet when they prophesy,
当他们发语言的时候，
here's your message.
这是你的信息。
She can't read that either.
他也读不了。
My handwriting's horrible.
我的手写字迹很潦草。
But God hasn't called you just to be a telegraph.
但是上帝不是只是发一个那个电报给你，
Or an email.
或者寄一个电子邮件给你。
Though I know a lot of Christians use that terminology. Reading someone's mail.
很多人就说读某个人的邮件。
God wants to relay His heart.
神希望把他的心来向人沟通。
Something so much more.
比那更多。
Words He can relay through anything.
那他要跟我们建立怎样的关系呢？
I love the Bible. It's got some crazy stuff in there.
我很喜欢圣经，圣经里面有很多甚至有点疯狂的东西。
God had a donkey deliver a message once.
上帝甚至有一次让一个驴子来当一个发语言的工具。
Sometimes I feel like that donkey.
有时候我觉得自己像那只驴子。
But God wants to relay more than words.
但是上帝要沟通的超过话语。
Because when He's talking through you, He's talking to someone.
他透过你说话，他是要来对另外一个人说话。
But He wants to talk to you first.
他首先来对你说话。
So right now, Holy Spirit, we invite you in.
圣灵啊，我们现在邀请你，
And we expect to receive from you.
我们期待从你那里领受。
Holy Spirit, open our ears right now.
圣灵啊，现在开我们的耳朵，
Cleanse our mind right now.
洁净我们的头脑。
We submit ourselves to you.
我们将自己完全降服于你，
And ask that you speak to us clearly in this moment.
恳求你这个时候清楚地向我们说话。
Simply take a moment and just receive from God.
请大家花点时间在神面前来领受。
He may give you an impression.
他可能会给你一个印象，
He may give you an image.
可能一个图画，
You may feel a voice.
你可能会听到他的声音。
Just receive right now.
现在就领受。
everybody doing?
大家觉得怎么样？
Raise your hand if you were touched right now.
如果你有被触摸、听到、看到，请举手。
Raise your hand if you feel like you didn't hear a thing.
如果你觉得你什么都没有听到、什么都没有感觉的话，也请举手。
Because that's okay.
因为这没关系。好，方向。
What are some common blocks that people feel they run into?
通常人们觉得会阻碍他们听到神的，会是一些怎么样的障碍，
Common concerns they have.
或是怎么样的一些顾虑？
I'm sorry. What are some common blocks or concerns or questions people have about hearing from God?
关于聆听神，一般会有怎么样的障碍，或是顾虑，或是问题？
Yes. Unbelief.
不信。
It's a fantastic one. We were just talking about that a little bit.
待会儿再讲关于这个。
Do I believe God is going to speak?
我相信神要对我说话吗？
Do I believe I'm worthy to hear from God?
我相信我配得聆听神吗？
When Jesus died, he tore the veil.
当耶稣断气的时候，帷幕裂开了。
What that means is that you can enter into the throne room of God
这就代表了你可以来进到那个至圣所，
for any reason.
为了任何的原因。
If you're a son or daughter of a king,
如果你是王的儿女，
you don't need permission to enter the throne room.
你不需要获得允许就可以到宝座面前来。
You could come in for anything.
你可以什么事情都可以到宝座面前来。
Whether you're asking for a job,
无论你要一个工作，
whether you're asking for finances or an allowance,
或是金钱，或是零用钱，
or whether you just want a hug,
或者你是想抱抱，
you can enter in and talk to your dad at any time,
你都可以找你爸爸，任何时候，
for any reason.
为了任何的理由。
I feel a lot of times we don't think of God as dad.
很多时候我们不把上帝当作是我们的爸爸，
We think of him only as Lord.
我们都想到哦，他是主。
Sometimes we're not very good at treating him as Lord.
有时候我们对他还不够称他为主。
In my life, I first saw God as master.
在我的生命中，首先把上帝当作是我的主人。
I was a martial arts instructor, so I knew very well what that meant.
我是一个武术教练，所以我非常知道什么叫主人。
I could come to him,
我可以到他面前来，
but I would come to him for assignments.
但是我是要来听命，要来执行一个什么任务的，
I would come to him for training.
要来受训练。
I don't want to come just to be with him,
但我不是要跟他来在一起的，
just to know him.
来认识他。
My dad, growing up,
在我成长过程中，我自己的父亲，
the two very distinct pictures I have of my dad
我到现在还有两个非常鲜明的跟我爸爸的图画。
are when he said goodbye to me when he was going on a business trip.
当他要去出差的时候，
Early morning would wake me up and say goodbye.
一大早就把我摇醒，然后跟我说再见。
And then the back of his head at the desk when he was at home.
然后呢，回来的时候呢，就该跟我见面。
And oftentimes I thought of God the same way.
有的时候呢，我会想到上帝也是这样，
Someone who was there but was distant.
他在那里，但是呢，有一段距离，
He didn't necessarily want to be in a relationship with me.
并没有那么想跟我建立关系，
He loved me because he had to.
并不是他有这个必要。
I'm his son, you have to love him.
那因为他儿子嘛，所以一定要爱他。
Most of what I learned about a good father is just from God. From God, sorry.
很多时候我学习到一个好父亲的形象是来自天赋，
So much so that I felt called God dad more than my actual dad.
所以我称上帝为爸爸，更多的这样子胜过我叫我自己的爸爸。
God is a good father
上帝是一个好爸爸，
who gives good gifts
他赐下好的礼物
to those who ask.
给所有寻求他的人。
That verse in Luke 11 is talking about that.
在路加福音第11章
It's specifically talking about he gives the Holy Spirit.
特别讲到他赐下圣灵，
The Comforter.
保惠师。
What's your name?
你的名字？喜欢他的名字。
我听不懂英文。
I don't understand English.
Jesus is good.
耶稣真好。
我叫陈碧如。
My name is 碧如。
然后我只知道我自己为我自己取名字叫
Anita, her English name.
名字。Anita, you hear people.
Anita, 你会听到别人对你说话。
You don't just hear what they're saying, you hear their heart.
你不但是听到他们的话，听到他们的心，
And you feel the weight of what they go through.
你也感受到他们经过他们身上的沉重。
You need to know it's not a weight for you to carry.
你要知道，这个重量不是你应该来承担的。
Sometimes you feel almost disappointed that you can't carry it.
有时候你就觉得很失望，怎么我担不了他们的担子？
It's a weight for you to lay down at Jesus.
因为你要把这个重担来卸给神，
He's the one who carries it.
因为是耶稣才担负这个重担。
He shares it with you because He wants you involved in the process.
我要来分享这一点，因为神让你知道，你要把重担卸给他。
Because of your love for the people that He shares that with.
因为他知道你爱这些他所宝贝的人。
And it's a little overwhelming at times.
有的时候好像会有点太多了，
But that's how I feel for them too.
但是神也是这样子来爱他们。
And that's how I feel for you.
我也是这样子来感觉到你的感受。
Who thinks Taipei is a pretty busy city?
台北是一个很忙碌的城市。有谁认为台北是个很忙碌的城市？
Yeah, a few people. Who believes that we live in a pretty busy culture?
谁认为我们是活在一个很忙碌的文化里面？
How dare you not do enough?
怎么敢不忙呢？
You only studied that long?
啊，你只有读这么几个小时啊？
We're always task-oriented.
我们常常就是以这个工作为中心导向。
I was talking with some of our team while we were on campus this week.
这个礼拜我们在台大传福音这个，我跟我们的短训队分享。
When I'm on campus, I'm never really in a hurry.
每次我在校园呢，我从来不赶时间。
I'm here all day.
我整天都在这里啊。
Sometimes we honestly need to slow down.
有时候我们需要慢下来，
Not just physically.
不但只是身体上慢下来，
Sometimes we need to recharge the batteries too.
有时候得换个电池。
That'll preach. Are we internally running so fast
我们里面有时候是不是太快了？
You know, we don't slow down to listen to anything.
我们甚至没有办法为任何事情慢下来。
All right, God, I have 5 minutes before I gotta leave the house.
好了，我还5分钟就要离开这个家了。
Speak to me.
说，主啊，你说。
God will wait 6 minutes just because.
主要等6分钟再说。
Proverbs 25.
箴言25章
says God is a God who hides himself.
神是一位自己的神。
If somebody told you that God doesn't play games, they didn't know God.
如果有人跟你说神是不玩游戏的，他们还不怎么认识神。
He loves hide and seek.
上帝还蛮喜欢玩躲迷藏的。
The glory of God is to conceal a matter.
神的荣耀是一件隐秘的事。
The glory of kings
君王的事
is to seek it out.
是要被寻求才会出来的。
Do I approach God just to check something off my list?
如果说我要来寻求神，只是要为了完成我工作项目里面的一项而已。
Or just for my bread for the day?
我只是为了我的灵粮而已。
Kind of what Martha did.
有点像是马大做的。
Did a lot for God.
做了很多工作了。
Prepared the meal.
煮了一个大餐。
Cleaned the house.
家里面打扫得干干净净的。
We love those people.
我们都很喜欢这些人。
I love food.
我喜欢吃。
I've eaten far too much of it since I've been here.
我来了以后吃太多了。
I was with our team and they were saying, "This is good, this is good."
我们表现对我说啊，这个好吃，那个好吃。
I'm saying, "I'm full, I'm full."
我饱了，我饱了。
I'm like, "No, it's good. You have to believe
这个
us."
好吃，你相信，你要吃了。
I do believe you. I don't think you believe me.
我相信你，但你好不相信我。
We need to do these things.
我们需要做这些事。
We need to do the work of God.
我们也需要做这些工作。
But we can't do it at the expense of our relationship with God.
但是不能因此而牺牲掉我们跟上帝的关系。
Mary sat at Jesus' feet.
玛利亚坐在耶稣的脚前。
Just sat there.
就坐在那里。
Listening.
聆听。
Waiting.
等候。
Waiting.
等候。
There's a couple of you guys who've been waiting for a very long time.
我们中间有几个人呢，已经等候神相当长一段时间了。
For a few things that God has promised to you.
为着一些神已经应许你的事。
And you set it aside, saying, "No, it'll never come."
你把这个事已经摆在一边，你觉得这个事根本不会成就了。
But God is patient with us.
但是神对我们是很有耐心的。
Kind of joke around as far as time-oriented people.
有一次呢，开玩笑。
Jesus was late a lot.
耶稣常常迟到。
Like he was late a lot.
他真的常常迟到。
Jesus, your best friend is really sick.
耶稣啊，你的最好的朋友已经病得很厉害了。
Okay, we'll get there eventually.
我们最后一定会到那里去的。
He waited 4 days before he even left.
他等了4天才出发。
The guy died.
他的好朋友已经死了。
Sometimes that's how we feel with our dreams.
有的时候我们的梦想好像也是有这种感觉。
God, this thing is dying.
主啊，这个梦想已经死了耶。
Is it dead yet?
死了吗？
Okay, I'll wait a little bit longer.
好，那我再等一会儿。
Because there was a greater glory that came.
因为有一个更大荣耀要来。
That wasn't just for Lazarus.
不但是为了拉萨路。
But was for the entire city.
乃是为了整个城市。
A man was raised from the dead.
一个人从死里复活。
Do you think God can do the same for your dreams?
你相信神要让你的梦想从死里复活吗？
And so much more.
甚至更多。
God is the God of life.
神是一位生命的神。
Do we come to Him forth?
我们是不是到他面前来？
He who abides in the vine.
我们住在这个葡萄树里面。
Vines don't do, or branches don't do very well when they're cut off their tree.
如果枝子被砍下来，就没办法做什么了。
They just don't.
他们没办法。
I'm not a botanist, but they don't.
我不是植物学家，但我知道。
But sometimes the branch just sits there forever.
有时候呢，枝子就坐在那里，永远坐在那里。
Just connected to the tree.
就是连着树。
Just connected.
就是连着而已。
Do I connect with God?
为什么要这样呢？
Do I slow down just to connect with Him?
我是不是慢下来，为了要跟他好好的连接
？Bettina asked me if we wanted worship beforehand.
Bettina 她有问我说，我们今天在一开始的时候是不是要先有敬拜？
Yes.
我说是啊。
She's like, good, I want to worship too.
对啊，她说我也想要来敬拜神。
Psalms talks about that God is enthroned in the praise of His people.
诗篇告诉我们说，上帝呢，他就是在我们的赞美中呢建立宝座。
And when you start praising, stuff shifts.
当你开始来赞美，
Things change.
事情会改变。
A lot of times we think of where we are.
很多时候我们想到我们所在之处，
Such a horrible situation.
是一个很可怕的一个处境之中。
It is.
有的时候是，
So I'm going to praise God.
所以我要赞美神，
Because He sees something I don't.
因为他看到我看不到的。
Hebrews 11.
希伯来书第11章。
Every single person in this chapter.
Go ahead. I know that chapter.
Oh, everybody in this chapter was praised for something.
这章里面的每一个人都为了某一些特别的事情而被赞美。
It said that they saw something ahead.
他们看到了在前方的
A kingdom
一个
that was
国
going
度
to，come.
一个要来的国度。
They knew that they were strangers in this land.
他们知道他们在这世上是客旅，是寄居的。
Isaiah talks about he who hopes in the Lord.
以赛亚书讲到说，那等候耶和华的
What hope is not a passive thing.
这样的一个盼望，这样等候不是一个被动消极的，
It's a verb in here.
它事实上是一个动词。
He who hopes
那等候耶和华的，
rises up on wings like eagles.
要如鹰展翅上腾。
Sometimes I need to actively trust what God is saying
有时候我要主动的来相信神所说的，
and hope in His word
而且在他的话语里面来盼望，来等候。
that I will be lifted up to a better perspective.
我要被提升到一个更好的一个视角，
Because where I am, I can't see.
因为我现在所处的地方我看不到，
But I need to hope in the Lord.
我必须在主里面来盼望。
Sometimes I just need to praise God.
有的时候就必须要赞美神。
Ever hear something from God and there's something I don't want to talk about?
有没有听到神说，然后你觉得说，我不想谈这件事。
Not too long ago, my dad divorced my mom.
不久前，我爸跟我妈离婚了，
And then less than a year later, he remarried somebody else.
不到1年，我爸就再娶了。
You can imagine that was a little painful.
你可以想象，这会痛苦，
Just a little bit.
有一点痛。
And in this, I knew God was asking me to speak to my dad.
我知道神要我对我爸爸说话，
Just to confront him on the word of God.
要用神的话来当面跟他面直，
Not to bash him with the truth,
不是用真理来击打他，
but to share my legitimate concerns.
乃是来分享我里面一些合理的一些挂虑。
I did. I wrote him a letter.
我就写了一封信给他，
Very well thought out, well prayed out letter.
经过了很多祷告、很多的思考写出来的信。
And he actually got on the day of his wedding.
他在婚礼那天收到我的信，
That part was not planned.
我没想到会是这样子。
So a couple days later, it's his birthday.
几天后他的生日，
And one of the things I mentioned in the letter is that I wanted a relationship with my dad.
信里面提到的是我希望跟我的爸爸建立关系。
I remember staring at my phone,
我记得我看着我的手机，
thinking there are so many more people I'd rather call right now.
有这么多的人，我宁可打给别人。
anybody in this boat other than my dad.
任何人而不是我爸爸。
But I needed to hope in the Lord.
但是我必须要敞开。
And I said, God, I trust you.
我说主啊，我信靠你。
That one, you are my defender, not me.
你是我的辩护者，不是我自己。
But I also look forward to the promise that you have given me.
我同时也期待你给我的应许。
That you have said that you will bring my dad to you.
你说过，你应许我，你要把我的爸爸带到主的面前来。
And I look forward to that time.
我期待那天会来到。
And I ended up talking with my dad.
我就打电话给我爸。
Sure, it wasn't the funnest conversation.
当然，内容并不是那么的赏心悦目。
But I was encouraged.
但是我很被鼓励。
Because God is good.
因为神真好。
I want you to pair up with somebody.
这个时候我想请两个一组。
And we're going to take couples. Yeah, we're going to take a second or two to pray for them.
我们要花一些时间彼此代祷。
And then we're going to wait and ask God to speak to us for them.
然后呢，我们就要等候神，求主向我们显明有什么话要对这个人说的。
And then we're going to do something crazy and share it.
然后呢，我们这样就来做一些疯狂的事，我们要来分享。
So pair up with somebody.
现在两个一组。做好了。
30 seconds. Giving his life to the Lord.
就有一个人信主了。
We fed over 100 people while we were there.
我们有让100个人吃饱。
And then we ended up having people come up for prayer for healing.
就有人上来请求我们为他们得医治祷告。
This one young lady specifically.
有一个年轻女生
came up and just through the translator said that her entire body was just riddled with pain.
透过翻译告诉我说，她全身都在痛。
Now, if anybody knows denominations, those are Spanish Pentecostals.
那个是一个西班牙裔的一个五旬节的教派。
I think they get pretty intense.
那可以是很重要的。
Yelling, screaming in tongues, sometimes Spanish.
可能意思是大声尖叫啦，或者说就是喊出那些西班牙话啦，或是讲方言。
On a side note, hearing from God doesn't give you permission to be weird.
聆听神并不给你特权变得很古怪。
If you're sharing with somebody words from God, they already think it's weird anyways.
如果你跟人家说，我觉得神要对你说，他已经觉得这个事情有点奇怪了。
Don't make it worse.
不要让他觉得变得更奇怪。
The young man that I was speaking over last night, he was kind of scared and freaked out.
昨天我分享这个年轻人，他后来已经害怕了。
And I was just talking with him like this.
我只是这样子跟他聊而已。
I said, "Thus says the Lord."
我没有这样说，主这样子说。我没有这样子。
Who the heck are you?
你是谁呀
？I don't think he would have heard anything I said.
我不可能听得下任何东西，如果那样子的话。
That's my side note.
那是我注解。
So while the rest of the church is really praying for this young lady.
所以教会里面都要为这个年轻女性能够得医治祷告。
I asked God very simply, what's going on?
我就问主说：“主啊，怎么回事？”
I don't know if this is neurological.
我不知道是神经性的疼痛。
If it's a skin disease or something.
还是皮肤病。
Or demonic.
还是邪灵的干扰。
I have no clue.
我不知道。
So internally, I take a step back and just quiet down.
在我里面，我就往后退一步，然后安静下来。
And instead of assume, I just ask God, what's up?
我不是预设立场，我就问主说：“主啊，这怎么回事啊？”
It's okay to be casual with God sometimes.
我们跟神是可以很像朋友这样聊天的。
He ended up telling me her body hurts, but her real pain is in her heart.
主跟我说，他的身体疼痛，但他真正的疼痛根源在他的心。
I have no clue what that means.
我不大知道什么意思。
I was like, okay, so I go up and through the translator, I shared that.
所以我透过翻译跟他讲。
And she hears it, she just breaks down and starts crying.
就开始崩溃的大哭。
I just share with her what God's saying.
我就开始把神要对他的话跟他讲。
And then I asked her, how do you feel?
我问他说：“你觉得怎么样？现在？”
She started weeping even more.
他开始哭得更厉害。
All the pain is gone.
他说：“所有的疼痛都没有了。”
Word from God can set you free.
神的话可以使你得自由。
Brings life and healing.
带来生命跟医治。
Breaks chains.
打破一切的锁链。
Sometimes we just need to hear from God for ourselves.
有时候我们需要为自己来聆听神。
But He also wants to speak through you to other people.
他也要透过你来向别人说话。
You don't have to be a prophet in order to share the word of God.
你不需要成为一个先知才能够分享神的话。
You just gotta know who Jesus is.
你只要来认识耶稣是谁。
You are a son or daughter of God.
你是神的儿子，神的女儿。
You have a right to hear His voice.
你有权利来知道他的声音。
If you share it with somebody, do you think you could set them free?
如果你知道你跟别人分享一句话，会让他得释放、得自由。
Think of another story.
另外一个故事。
A friend and me had a little bit of an argument.
有个朋友有一次跟我有一个论点。
We were stuck in a car for an hour, so we had to be together.
我们塞在车里面1个小时，所以我必须要在一起。
I'm sitting there praying, God, should I bring this back up?
我在那边祷告说，主啊，我应该把这个事情提起来吗？
Because we had just been quiet afterwards, and I kept to myself and prayed.
因为我们有个事情不大同意之后，我们俩就各自安静了。
Started praising God in the Spirit.
在灵里面继续赞美主。
And God said, saying, no, I want her to bring it back up.
然后神就说不，我要他再提到这件事情。
So we sat there in awkwardness.
所以我们就有点怪的坐在那边。
And then I ended up getting gas, and as we get back on the road, she brings it back up.
那我们在路上呢，他就把这个事情提起来了，他的朋友。
Fairly angrily.
还蛮生气的。
Can we not leave this alone?
我们可以不要这样子吗？
And she mentioned how she was praying and asking God for me to bring it back up.
他说他祷告神，求神让Kenny 能够把这个事情再讲一次。
And God told her pretty plainly, He's not going to bring it back up.
然后神就说 Kenny 不会再把这个事情再讲一次。
So she clearly took that to mean that I hate her.
所以他就觉得说，那一定是 Kenny 很恨他了。
And that I don't care about the situation.
Kenny 不在乎这个情形。
Sometimes when we hear from God, we need to ask more questions.
有时候我们聆听神的时候，我们要问更多的问题，免得全是错误。
Okay, why is He not going to bring it back up?
为什么 Kenny 不再提到这件事？
Now, even in this, what this really gets at, though,
这个事情的要点是
is to understand that God is speaking through us,
了解神透过我们说话，
and that we filter the message God has given.
我们要过滤神给我们的信息。
Think about it. God doesn't speak in a vacuum.
神不是在真空里面对我们说话。
Even when you read the Bible,
其实当你读圣经，
it was written by real people,
是有血有肉的人写的，
and it was written for real people.
为着真正有血有肉的人写的。
Now, a lot of it applies to us
很多时候它应用在我们身上，
because the word is eternal.
因为神的话语是永存的。
We have to realize that God spoke through people
我们要明白神透过人来说话，
in real times
在一个真正的时间里，
that have their own language and culture and imaginations and meanings for everything.
他们有他们自己的语言、文化、背景跟他们的环境。
And God, in His sovereignty, used that to speak to us.
神以他的全能使用那样的一切来对我们说话。
So just like I was talking about with images, God uses specific images for you to be relayed.
所以我刚刚讲到，神用不同的形象来对你们说话。
Same thing with emotions, heart, and all this.
对于情感，对于心也是如此。
The question isn't just, God, what are you saying to this person?
所以问题不只是说神啊，对这个人要说什么，
God, what is your heart for this person?
主要对这个人的心意是什么？
There's so much more.
心意是更多的。
But also, your physical being kind of can affect the word.
当然，你的肢体语言也会影响到这个话语的传递。
I think it was Saturday night.
礼拜六晚上，
Chris spoke, and then a few people were coming up to him for prayer.
Chris 说完话之后呢，有些人来找他祷告。
I just got in. I was tired.
我当时才刚刚到台湾，我好累哦。
I was falling asleep in my chair.
我在椅子上已经睡着了。
And
a lady came up to Chris and asked for prayer.
有一个女子姐妹来 Chris 面前请他祷告。
And Chris like, you can talk to Kenny, he's great at this.
Chris 就说：“你跟小 Kenny 啊，他很棒的。”
And she said, I'm afraid Kenny's tired though.
那个姐妹就说：“我怕 Kenny 可能很累吧。”
I completely agreed with her.
我完全同意，我真的很累。
I was tired.
我真的很累。
And I also realized that affects what I'm seeing and thinking.
我发现这个累让我没有办法好好的去思考。
Sometimes if I'm very tired, I'm not necessarily thinking and discerning correctly.
如果我很累的时候，我没有办法正确的思考跟分辨。
I'm not taking the time to really process through what's being said.
我没有办法花时间来好好的处理跟过滤我所听到的事情。
For me, I turn more into just, I feel like a typewriter.
有点像是打字机一样。
Just this is your word.
就是你的神话语呈给你的。
And it doesn't actually relay anything of God's heart.
而没有任何传递神的心意。
So a lot of times I try not to prophesy over people when I'm asleep.
所以我很困的时候呢，我不会对别人发预言。
It's also like other factors, fatigue, sick, all these things.
或是你很疲倦的时候，你生病的时候。
Spiritual nature, all these things, just emotional things that are going on.
或是你的情绪化，或者灵里面比较软弱的时候。
You're not just a spiritual being.
你不是只是一个灵里面的人而已。
You're not just a physical being.
你也不是只是有身体而已。
God is awesome in the fact that He is triune.
神是三位一体的。
I was saying, for some reason I thought I needed to clear it. God finds bodies important.
神知道身体是很重要的。
He gave you one.
所以他给你一个身体。
He gave Himself one.
神自己也有身体，耶稣也有身体。
Even when Jesus rose from the dead, He had a physical body.
耶穌從死裡復活，他有一個身體。
We have to also realize that we are a complete being.
我們要知道，我們是完整的靈魂體。
And every part affects each other.
互相的都是緊密相連的。
It's not to limit you.
不是要限制你。
But we also need to be aware of it.
我們也知道這件事情。
So, lady who came up, we prayed for her later.
所以呢，那個姐妹來了，我們就為她禱告了。
It's that simple. I'm tired. Can we do this later?
我就說，結果很累，我們可不可以等一下再禱告
That being said, God does give grace.
我也說，神會給我們恩典。
Because He is so much bigger than us.
因為神比我們大太多了。
So much bigger.
大太多了。
Are there any other questions?
還有沒有其他問題？
Who felt that they heard from God tonight?
有誰覺得今天晚上聽到神對你說話？
All right, if your partner is not raising your hand,
如果你的同伴沒有舉手的話，
look at them and tell them, you heard from God.
看到他說你有聽到神，
I know because it was real to me.
因為他是對我真實的，神是對我真實的。
Right. Unless you wanted to go to a crazy dispersion of faith where everybody and people didn't fall around. It's 10 minutes. If there's people who really want prayer, and love for everyone. All right, if you just feel like, man, I want a fresh touch of God, I want a fresh outpouring.
如果說你希望有一個神新鮮的觸摸、新鮮的澆灌，
You can come on up here.
你可以到前面來，我可以為你禱告。